Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are digging into a fascinating and honestly kind of scary security gap that might be hiding right inside your own IT infrastructure. We're going to explore exactly how unauthorized network protocols can secretly bypass your standard defenses and, more importantly, how IT blocks unauthorized IPv6 using the official playbook from the Internet Engineering Task Force. All right, let's jump right in. I want to kick things off by challenging you with a pretty straightforward question. Is your IPv4 network actually IPv4 only? I mean, think about it like this. Imagine you hire a highly trained, very expensive security guard for your building, but you give them incredibly specific instructions. They are only allowed to check blue passports. If someone waltzes in with a red passport, the guard just completely ignores them and lets them walk right on by. Well, that is exactly what's happening in so many enterprise networks today. The firewall is fiercely guarding the IPv4 traffic, but it's completely blind to everything else. Okay, here's our game plan for today. Number 1, the hidden IPv6 threat. Number 2, bypassing the IPv4 firewall. Number 3, blocking native IPv6 traffic. Number 4, collapsing unauthorized IPv6 tunnels. And finally, number 5, the DNS resolution trick.
Let's start with Section 1, the hidden IPv6 threat.
Here's the wild thing about this issue. The core problem isn't actually malicious hackers breaking into your systems from the outside. No, it's the very design of modern operating systems themselves. Most of your general-purpose OSs, we're talking Windows, Mac OS Linux, they have native IPv6 and tunneling enabled by default, and that is regardless of what your network administrator actually intended. This creates a massive blind spot. So while you might have incredibly strict IPv4 security policies, you probably have completely non-existent IPv6 security policies. And according to RFC 7123, this leaves your supposedly secure network wide open. A local attacker could easily send rogue router advertisements to silently reroute and hijack your traffic. Your network intrusion detection systems entirely bypassed. And dual-stacked hosts might accidentally leak virtual private network traffic simply because the VPN software only knows how to handle IPv4. It's a real mess. Moving right along to Section 2, bypassing the IPv4 firewall. You might be wondering, how exactly are these packets sneaking past a multi-million-dollar security perimeter? Well, the answer comes down to transition technologies. Think of these like digital smugglers. We have these automatic tunneling mechanisms that operate without any prior consent or action from the user or the network admin. What they do is take unauthorized IPv6 traffic, wrap it up inside standard IPv4 packets, and just sneak it right past your border security. And what's even crazier is that some of these mechanisms, like Teredo for example, are literally designed by Microsoft to punch right through your network address translation devices. This means an internal host with perfectly limited IPv4 connectivity can suddenly become globally reachable to the entire internet over IPv6. No firewall alerts, nothing. All right, Section 3, blocking native IPv6 traffic. So we know what the threat is, right? But how do we actually slam the door shut on these smugglers? Well, the first step is stopping native IPv6 right at the local link level. The absolutely crucial thing you need to know here is this hexadecimal number, Ethertype 0x86DD. If your Layer 2 devices, like your network switches, actually support it, you can create a filtering rule to drop any Ethernet frames that have their protocol type field set to 0x86DD. That specific number is the identifier for IPv6. But I do have to give you a quick word of caution straight from the RFC. This is a very blunt instrument. Dropping all IPv6 at Layer 2 might accidentally break link local tasks, like multicast DNS. You know, the thing that helps your computer easily find local printers and devices? So if your network suddenly starts acting up after you apply this rule, just keep that in mind.
Let's hit Section 4, collapsing unauthorized IPv6 tunnels.
If we can't always block the native traffic safely without breaking things, we absolutely must stop the encapsulated tunnel smugglers dead in their tracks. Let's put together a rapid-fire cheat sheet for this. First, we can group these specific transition technologies together: ISATAP, 6to4, 6ARD, and 6in4. Now, while they all have slightly different specific use cases for connecting IPv6 islands over the IPv4 internet, they all rely on the exact same encapsulation method to bypass your firewall. Because those specific protocols literally just wrap their IPv6 packets inside of IPv4. The solution is sitting right there in the IPv4 header. The magic rule here is to drop any outgoing IPv4 packet that contains Protocol 41. Protocol 41 literally translates to IPv6 encapsulation. So by dropping this right at your firewall, you collapse all of those tunnels at once. Boom, done. But wait, what about Teredo?
Teredo, which historically came installed completely by default on Windows machines, requires a totally different approach. Remember how we said it was built specifically to bypass NAT? Because of that, it doesn't use Protocol 41 at all. Instead, it gets sneaky and encapsulates its IPv6 traffic inside IPv4 UDP datagrams.
So to stop Teredo, you've got to target UDP port 3544. This is the official Teredo service port. You see, before a Teredo client can start smuggling any traffic, it has to initialize itself by contacting an external Microsoft server on this very specific port. If your firewall simply drops all outgoing traffic to UDP destination port 3544, that initialization fails completely and the tunnel never even gets built.
You are definitely going to want to memorize this master cheat sheet, which is pulled directly from Appendix A of RFC 7123. We've got our Layer 2 Ether-type block right at the top, our Protocol 41 block for the standard tunnels, and that UDP port block for Teredo. The appendix even includes rules for other obscure tunneling protocols, like using TSP on port 3653 and AEIA on port 5072, both of which are just alternative methods for tunneling IPv6 over IPv4 networks. Enforce these specific rules, and the protocol smugglers are officially out of business.
Okay, on to our final piece of the puzzle, Section 5, the DNS resolution trick.
Sometimes standard network routing rules just aren't enough, and IT actually has to use a psychological trick right at the application layer. Seriously, to stop devices from using IPv6, you basically have to break their belief that they even can. Modern devices use this algorithm called happy eyeballs, where they actually prefer IPv6 if they think it's available. So here's how the trick works. Step 1. The host asks the DNS server for an IPv6 address, which is known as a AAA record. Step 2. Your local enterprise DNS server intercepts that request. Step 3. This is the trick. Instead of saying the record doesn't exist, the server returns a no-error code but provides absolutely zero data. So in Step 4, the host algorithm instantly gives up on IPv6 and just happily falls back to IPv4. Honestly, this DNS trick is operationally brilliant. First off, it completely prevents those agonizingly long host timeouts, where a computer just sits there waiting for a blocked IPv6 connection to respond. It also completely mitigates broken upstream paths. However, to be totally impartial here, as the source material strictly warns, there is a catch. Stripping these AAAA records will invalidate DNSSEC responses. So if your network heavily relies on DNS security extensions to validate responses, this trick will cause those requests to be instantly discarded.
And that brings us to a very important reality check. The RFC actually explicitly states, and I quote, "Filtering IPv6 traffic to mitigate IPv6 security implications on IPv4 networks should generally only be considered as a temporary measure until IPv6 is deployed." So the Internet Engineering Task Force is giving you these rules to protect your legacy infrastructure right now, but they insist these are really just temporary band-aids.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. You've got the playbook now. You know exactly how IT blocks unauthorized IPv6 using Protocol 41, UDP 3544, and some clever DNS manipulation. But how long until you're actually forced to use it natively? As the global internet completely runs out of IPv4 space, your temporary band-aids are eventually going to have to come off. So, are your firewalls and intrusion detection systems truly ready to inspect native IPv6 when that day finally comes? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and until next time, keep learning and keep those networks secure.